Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beneath the Surface, an A&G Concrete Pools podcast. We're so excited to bring you this new series where we're going to be interviewing different people from the company, some of our trade partners, some of our community members as well, painting the entire picture of who A&G is behind the scenes. So it is my distinct honor and pleasure to be introduced on this inaugural episode, President Owner Mr. Travis Leonard. How are you doing today,
Thanks,
sir?
Luke. I'm doing great, bud. Well done with the room.
Thank you.
I believe this came to your head, what, about 6 months ago? As an idea? You brought it to my attention?
I think we have to give it to you first and foremost, because I think you had the concept, and for a long time, we sat there at the drawing room and said, how are we going to bring this to life? And mock-up after mock-up after mock-up, we finally found one we liked,
Sure.
and then credit to a lot of incredible people, people that I'm sure we're going to get into as we talk about the company at large, but a lot of hard work, a lot of planning ahead, a lot of troubleshooting and figuring things out on the fly, as is always the case with construction.
No doubt about it.
But I think the final product is truly amazing, and now it's just a great place to where we can have these conversations where we can take people beneath the surface, for lack of a better term, and really educate, I think, not only a consumer, a client, but the industry at large, and bring people into a world that is, I think, misunderstood in a lot of ways, simply because if you haven't thought about a pool before, if you haven't purchased one before, if you haven't gone through that experience, it seems like an incredibly simple thing to do, yet you and I both know it's so much more than that.
Well, that's because we make it look easy. We make it look simple. And just like this room, we made it look easy, we made it look simple, but we all know it wasn't. And that's the talent and the treasures of our great, phenomenal team that we have here at A&G Pools.
I couldn't agree more. So I think the best place to start on an opening episode like this, let's go all the way to the beginning. Obviously, you weren't there at the very beginning of A&G,
Sure.
but you joined pretty early on. You've been there more than the majority of the company's history now as we come up on 40 years. So I would say first, what was your experience as someone on the outside looking in of A&G? They had already had over a decade of experience before you joined. And then once you did get onto that team, what was something immediately where you knew this was a different place from anywhere you've been before?
My former partner, he was the driving force behind it. He was the one that gave us the basically the open book and said, be as creative as you like and we'll figure out a way to build it. And coming on board when I was a 22-year-old punk kid out of college, being a sales guy and getting an opportunity to do that, you got to figure out. I've been with A&G over a quarter century now. A lot more gray hairs today than I did when I first started, for sure. But a lot of great moments that have happened over the last 25 years and going on to our 26th year. And we're excited. Obviously, Art is retired now, so it's actually celebrating 2 years since his retirement. And we rebranded the company, and you've been a big part of that, and I can't thank you enough for that. And I firmly believe today we're building the best pool we've ever built in the history of this company. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of the work and the craftsmanship that we've put out there. The team has really jumped on board as well. So I'm extremely proud of that.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, that product is what it always will come back to. For everything that we can do, even on my side, with marketing things, everything that we're going to do out in the community, it has to start with that physical product, with the incredible waterscapes and some of them behind us in the room here. But designs, I think, that are becoming more and more elaborate, more and more exciting. I think particularly since I've joined about 3 years ago now, just to see the creativity explode. And obviously, construction techniques have improved over the years, so we're allowed and sort of able to build these more complex projects. We've got more experience under our belt. We've seen more things that allow us to make more unique designs. But I think it's credit to designers such as yourself when you started to continually push that envelope and see really how far we can go in terms of the design ability. Because I think more and more, that's what people are coming to us for. They want to have that thing that is one of one, that is truly theirs, that's never been seen before, and likely won't be seen again after their project.
No doubt about it. Clients are now bringing elements that they want to us, as opposed to us just sitting there asking a client and going, what would you like? They go, well, you're the professional. You come up with something. Clients are now coming to us going, I saw this on TV. I saw this on TikTok. I saw this on Instagram. I saw this on Snapchat with my buddy. This is what I want. I saw this when I was in Bali. I saw this when I was in Dubai. I saw this when I was over in the West Coast or traveling the country and the world where we get an opportunity to deal with some really amazing clients that are willing to provide us that opportunity to be creative as well as work with them and coordinate with them and build these amazing, beautiful escapes that we have in the backyard. It's pretty impressive.
Now, how large a change is that from when you first joined on, sort of at the turn of the century? What was the client interaction like back then? Because I imagine, obviously, all those things you just referenced, a lot of them weren't around.
Didn't exist. I mean, you got to figure Google didn't even exist when we first came back on, when I first started with A&G Pools. The swimming pool 25 years ago was a backyard, was a hole in the ground with some water on it. The big thing was a spa. The industry's just transformed to what you see today. It's no longer just a hole in the backyard. It is a backyard entertainment area. It is a place where you're taking your family, you're taking your friends, you're showcasing your backyard. We live in Florida. Where 6 months out of the year you're out. You want to be outside. You don't want to be inside. Now, the other 6 months of the year, you definitely want to be inside and not outside. You kind of look at the outside. But people ask me all the time, like, well, how often do you use your pool? I never use my pool. I'm like, I use my pool every day. They go, you go swimming every day? I said, that's not the question you asked me. But when I wake up in the morning and I grab a cup of coffee and I walk outside and I read the paper and I got the sound of running water, I got the lights on, I got the movement going on in the backyard, everything about the backyard is an oasis. It's not just swimming in the swimming pool. Don't get me wrong, when my kids were younger, I was in the pool all the time. Now that my kids are older, I got a senior and a sophomore in high school, getting ready to go off to college next year. They're not swimming in the pool, but I'll be damned if we're not out there almost every day having a conversation, talking about life and the next phases with the sound of running water in the background.
And I think that is what we're seeing more and more of people becoming wary to that idea of this almost being a second home on its own right. When you've defined your inside space so carefully and how you want that floor plan, how you want to lay out, how you want people to interact, I think people are really starting to take that approach to their exterior of their home and say, this is going to be a seating area where I have dinners. This is going to be a place where we're going to have conversations by a fire pit. This is where we're going to be sitting on a sun shelf, enjoying the pool, but not necessarily all the way in it. And as people continue to sort of redefine what it means to be a pool owner, what it means to have a pool in their backyard, I think we're only going to see those designs continue to grow and continue to evolve into things that may not be traditional swimming pools in the sense that we knew them 25 years ago, but are very much still in the vein and the spirit and the history of what we built.
When I started here, we never met with interior decorators, never met with architects, never met with a general contractor before you actually met with a homeowner. Today, we are sitting down with the interior decorators, with the architects, with the engineers, with the general contractor, months before we ever break ground to coordinate that cohesiveness from the inside to the outside.
Do you feel like there was a certain point in time, a certain kind of event that led to that kind of tectonic shift where you're like, this is going to become more elaborate? Now, A&G has always been on the forefront of a lot of these things and being willing to push the box in terms of innovation. Did you ever feel like you were 2-3 years ahead of the curve and knew down the line this is where the swimming pool industry, particularly the luxury waterscape industry, was going to move?
I think on some of the things, and being part of the Master Pools Guild has definitely helped that. We're part of an organization that has 115 pool companies around the world, and we're continuing to actively grow that organization with new members. When you meet with people inside your industry that you're not really combative with, you're not in competition with, you can share ideas, and that's the whole premise of the Master Pools Guild, is to have that sharing of ideas. When you can push boundaries and push limits, when you can make a phone call and say, hey, I saw what you did. How did you do that? And you can get that insight. You can get that little professional little snippet that most people can't. That has definitely helped us. When we joined the Guild over 15 years ago, we were provided an opportunity to kind of scale up a little bit against our competition in the marketplace. And then when COVID hit, COVID kind of changed a lot of things for everybody, and the pool industry especially.
Yeah, and I think you can take sort of almost any approach to that particular window, that 2020 to about 2022, 2023 window of time, and whatever metric you like, whatever consumer sentiment you like, whatever design you sort of wanted to point to and say that's where it changed, I think you'd be able to prove your point because you had such unprecedented demand for the product with everyone staying home and all of that sort of additional money that they would have spent on a vacation or would have spent on miscellaneous items they're pouring back into their home. They know it's where they're going to be. And at the same time, having that sort of peak of getting those construction materials in. And so many unique players rushing into the space to try and capitalize on that. How did A&G react to that at the time, seeing all these new smaller companies come in, knowing the history that we have, and navigating that space? Because I can't imagine it was easy, particularly you've got global events on one side, and then you've got sort of localized competition and a new entire sphere you're dealing with on the other.
COVID hit. We were the leaders in the industry in our area already, moving into COVID. And when COVID hit, nobody knew what was going to happen. Fast forward 6 months later, where the demand, as you said, hyper increased. We as a team buckled down, and we as a team sat around and was very creative on how we wanted to handle certain processes. We were extremely blessed moving into our new 18,000 square foot facility basically 6 months before COVID hit, which provided us the opportunity to house all the products, house all the materials, ensure we had everything we needed to build those projects that we were selling. We went from selling 30 to 40 a month to selling 60 to 70 a month. Wow. So we pulled down our director of procurement, Lily, superstar, stud, absolute amazing human being. We were sitting down on a weekly basis. What did we sell this week? What do we got to make sure that we have? We sat down with our manufacturing partners like Fluidra, Silverline Plastics. Hey, what's your lead time? How long is it going to go ahead and take you to get me that product? And they're like, well, this is proprietary. We can't give this to you. I'm like, the only way this is going to work is if we work together. And be honest with me. If that heater is a 6 week lead time, tell me it's 6 weeks. If it's 60 weeks, tell me it's 60 weeks. So we were able to go ahead and be very creative on what we did, but we also had amazing trade partners. And having the space to be able to do it afforded us the opportunity to never miss a closing, never miss anything that we needed to hit as far as the target date is concerned, and always had the product in place. Heck, I had friends calling me up going, hey, I don't have a salt system. How many, do you have any? I'm like, I've got 60. Why don't you come by? I'll sell you a couple. And it's true. But we were smart enough to be able to do that. And it goes back to, I never thought I'd have to do that. Who the heck doesn't have a product when you make a phone call? Yeah. And here we are, where we didn't have string. I remember getting a phone call going, hey, Mr. Leonard, we don't have string to string up the lines on the pool. It's things like that that you would never have to think about. But it goes back to the COVID and the demand of the creativity. People are home now. People are stuck home. And they're looking out in that backyard going, I want to live out here. And how do I do that? And that's what really afforded us the opportunity to create the spaces that you see today.
So let's talk about, because you mentioned it there, and I think it's so important, particularly in a time like that, but I think holistically for any business, those trade partners, those individuals that we worked with, because much like the company itself, much like a lot of the employees who have been tenured 10, 20 years, those trade partners are ones we've had for a very, very long time. And I don't think the relationship you're describing, where you can have that honesty, you can have that transparency, and both of you can really have a true, genuine conversation about how we're going to navigate in that case, a particularly trying time. What's it like working with, obviously you've got partners as large as a Fluidra, where you're talking a multinational global corporation, and then people like Artistry and Mosaics, who are right down the road from us and are as local as we are.
Goes back to relationships, as you said. When you're able to make a phone call to the senior vice president of sales or senior vice president of operations of Fluidra, that's important. And that's a testament to them. That's a testament to them because I've known that young man, Scott Frost, who's now moved on. I'm excited for him and his next adventure that he has going on. Being able to make that phone call and going, hey, I need this, this, and this. How do we make this happen? And he was accessible. So kudos to them, kudos to him for allowing that to that. And then you go to like Artistry Mosaics, as you stated, right down the street. Quadrupled their business within a period of 6 months because of COVID. And kudos to Bob for running his company and having the product, having the inventory that he had. But it was also going, hey, Bob, don't forget who brought you to the dance. Grateful and thankful that you have an opportunity to grow your business. But also don't forget that we were there before that. And he never did. He never did. We were very well taken care of because of those relationships that we had built over that period of time. And I think that's one of the things that drawbacks in our industry, in a lot of industries, is most contractors don't take the time to build those relationships because it takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. But with respect to these gentlemen, these are friends. They're not just trade partners. These are actual friends. I enjoy going out to dinner with them. I enjoy going out to lunches with them. I enjoy having a cocktail every now and then, a cigar every now and then. They're friends. And that really matters to me.
That connection, when something is as deep as that, when it goes beyond business, I think you can sort of take those things into consideration and say, this is a way that we're going to be able to navigate through a tough time like COVID. But like you're talking about, when we get out of that cycle, and I'm excited to talk to you about sort of where we've come since then.
Me too.
But taking that approach and those lessons that you learned, those relationships that have only grown tighter in a period of tough time, in a period of struggle, and seeing how then you can expand out and how then you can grow these economies of scale. So within our own business, that's when I joined on. I always feel like I had such a unique approach because I came in at the height of it all. And I just assumed it had always been like this. I'm like, what a crazy business and a crazy world this is.
Yeah, that was chaos.
So
controlled chaos.
Controlled chaos. But seeing it at its absolute peak, and then being able to now see us sort of, I would say, restabilize in a way that people kind of anticipated, in a way that we were more accustomed to, but now with so many lessons learned, now with so many great challenges that we had to overcome in a period where so many things were going on, and now we can sort of implement this laser focus on these complex projects, on these unique ideas. When something does go right, when we have inclement weather, how do we sort of rebound from that? I would love to hear your thoughts on what you've seen in these last 2 years since then, from the lessons learned to how we're able to apply them now.
I mean, you got to figure you go from building 10 swimming pools a week to building 4. So you look at it and go, oh my God, you lost 60% of your business. What we did was we went ahead and we tailored to more of the ultra high end, is what we're doing now, where the swimming pool is 6 times the size of a regular swimming pool, where they're 1,800, 1,900, 2,000 square feet, where they're multi-levels, where there's affinity edges combined with sunken fire pits, combined with champagne spas, with fire water bowls, you name it. We've been able to go ahead and create those oases and those spaces with the same team members that were building those 15 by 30s. But it goes back to being able to really finite the workmanship and the craftsmanship. Our team members didn't have the opportunity during COVID to really take the time to do it 100% up to the A&G standards. We held them to that during COVID. But I looked at the pools going, that could be a lot better. And every day we struggle to get better. Every day we strive to get better. Every day we come to work knowing that, hey, today is the day that we're going to go ahead and continue to grow. And if you ain't growing, you're dying. And that's the premise around this company is to constantly get better each and every day in those scapes. The other side of the coin is people are now taking 100% ownership. Most of our trades that hit the road every day are in-house employees, sitting at just shy of 100 full-time employees. They take ownership, and they've gone through the chaos. They went through COVID with us, and we continue with that. And yes, we're keeping them employed. Yes, they have 401k. Yes, they have health benefits. Yes, they come here. They've actually got a smile on their face now. I have a smile on my face coming to work. I'm not getting yelled at every day going, why aren't you digging this? Why aren't you digging that? We're in a much better space and much better place when it comes to the client's expectations, the expectations that the team has of me, because that's been definitely laid out to make sure that they know exactly what I want, and it's perfection. And we're not there yet, and I don't think we'll ever get there. And that's the insatiable desire to be perfect and to work hard each and every day to continue to do that.
Yeah, and that's sort of one of the great quotes, and I remember being introduced to this by my uncle, but Vince Lombardi always said, we wake up every morning pursuing perfection, knowing we'll never have it.
Yep.
And I think it's a testament to the employees here, to the team here, to the culture that you've created from the top down of knowing that, and knowing that this pursuit may never be fulfilled in the way we all want it, but we still get up every day and we still pursue it because we do think there's that additional minutia, that last percentage point where something can be better, something can be more efficient. No, I think one of the largest places you've seen that is in construction timelines. I mean, to go to COVID and it was 18-month lead into 3, 4, 5-month build, just projects extending out for such a long period of time. And the lessons learned now, I know we've got projects coming in at 6 weeks, start to finish, 6.5 weeks, and even on projects as complex as the ones we have here.
Sure.
These are becoming at most 3-month builds. And that is industry leading by any metric.
They are. And it goes back to the lessons that we learned. Iron sharpens iron. And COVID made us a lot better. I worked on our own in-house scheduling program. that we created and built from scratch. And it took us 2.5 years, but I can pick up my phone right now, look at any one of my projects and see they're on time, behind time, ahead of schedule. Everything is all computer generated. All my project managers have access to where they're uploading all the photos and the details out in the field in real time. We get then that all uploads then gets sent to all of our trades, whether it be concrete, whether it be gunite, whether it be screen, whether it be electrical. Everything is all computer generated. So we're able to go ahead and track everything.
And I think a lot of fellow business owners could speak to how important that is internally. How important do you think that is externally for a client to know that there's so much accountability, to know that every step is being mapped out? And when we give them a timeline, there is a plethora of examples, just this massive sample size of the last 2 years of running that program to say, no, we're quite certain about this because we've seen 400 projects come through the door and they've all finished in that same kind of window.
That's the reason why we are who we are. And we're a premium brand and we have the highest market share. That's an oxymoron. That usually doesn't happen. However, that client wants us in and out of their backyard as quickly as humanly possible with a 100% quality product in that backyard space. Whereas you have a lot of the other pool companies, we all know, it takes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. Who the heck wants anybody in their home, in their backyard, for that extended period of time?
One of the most interesting things about that, and obviously from a practicality standpoint, you laid it out perfectly, but I think capturing the excitement. Clients come in now and they've seen sort of the videos we put together. We've seen the galleries on the website. They've seen the magazines that have come through the door, and they know sort of what's possible. They've really solidified what they've done. Clients, I think, are doing more vetting and more researching than ever. They really want to know who they're getting into business with. And they come in with that excitement. They know that they're secure in the brand and the company that they're about to sign with. They know that the design is something they love. I think being able to bring that to life for them in a period where that excitement hasn't waned and they haven't had to go through 6, 8 months and waiting and calling and being worn down by the fact that they just don't know what's going on. Having in-house project managers who can talk to them every day. Having salesmen who don't stop at the point of sale, who continue and sort of nurture that client throughout. And I think one of the greatest testaments to that is the reviews that we've seen coming in, which are obviously on my side so heartening to see, and it makes me quite happy. But to see people not only feel so impassioned about the process that they want to share their opinion, which in itself is a big step, but the time they take the time they take to share the experience, to call out individuals by name, whether that be Jordan in sales, whether that be Dave on project management, and say, I had a great experience because this individual made my experience great. I think it's just a wonderful thing that our process, all this work that we put in behind the scenes is resonating with people like that.
It does. We don't do it for reviews. We don't do it for put a feather in our cap on that one. Don't be wrong. I'll accept every positive review you want to give me because it does. It makes you feel good. At the end of the day, that's what they're paying for. And most consumers have that same feeling, same belief. You know, why would I write a review? Because that's what I paid you to do. Again, don't be wrong. It feels great to get as many reviews as you like. I love that. I really concentrate on the ones where the client calls up and says, hey, I had a problem. And I pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, Mrs. Jones, what was your problem? They're like, well, honestly, I don't remember what it was because you guys took care of it as fast as you did. That's what I really worry about. And building a swimming pool at the end of the day is easy because we make it look easy, like we talked about when we first started. We're there not only during the build, but we're also there a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later. The service after the fact is really what we're concentrating on because 6 months after you got that bright, shiny new toy and you're in the backyard and something goes wrong, you pick up the phone, our service team takes care of you within 24 hours. That's the difference after the fact that we're also striving for.
And again, that service team, an in-house group, an incredible group of people who...
Amazing. And by the way, and we're one of the few that actually has a full in-house service team dedicated for repairs, for warranties, services, for startups, even to go ahead and do Pool School 202. We do Pool School 101, it's included. But 4 months later, people travel, they're back and forth. There's snowbirds that come back down. They're like, I have no idea what the heck you told me to do. Can you mind coming back out? No problem. We'll be right out.
It's that service. And like you're talking about, there is an expectation, I think, when you side with a premium product, when you side with a company that has specialized themselves into that space, you have the utmost belief, and I think as a lot of people should, that there's going to be additional things that come with this that don't come with the average pool builder, that don't come with someone who's trying to focus on being price competitive, who's trying to focus on one singular element and letting everything else go to the wayside. When you come with us, obviously, there's the design and award-winning 95 different awards, Pool and Spa Top 50, 3 years running, a lot of incredible sort of accommodations and accolades from our industry. But there's also that element of we never stop caring for you. That warranty is serviced by our team. Even when you go out of warranty, we're going to come back and still diagnose the issue. We're going to come out. We're going to do everything in our power, whether that's going through the manufacturer, whether that's our own team who has, again, individuals with decades of experience. I mean, we talk about someone like John Hoyt, who is the operations manager, who obviously comes from a service background, an individual who I think we could rather easily say has forgotten more about pools than any of us could ever know.
1,000%.
And to have someone like that, and just over the phone, someone can talk to him and say, I'm having this issue, I'm seeing this thing, and he has this internal Rolodex of everything he's ever seen, and being able to diagnose things, even if it's not solvable over the phone, it then gives our team more speed, more efficiency to go out and know exactly what to look for when they're on site.
Sure. I mean, we're here in the morning, and not only the project managers, service technicians, even our in-house staff, even Riley, who's our new addition, who's been with us for just 7 months. She's wanting to learn, and John's just been a wealth of knowledge because she's the point of contact when people call up and go, hey, hey, how can I help you? Well, my pump's not working, or this isn't working. And John Hoyt has been able to just give her like the top 5 things to take care of, and we're able to just go ahead and answer a question and it sounds simple, it sounds easy, but it means a lot to the consumer. And that John Hoyt absolutely is a treasure for this company. He's been here longer than I have. He's been here 2 years longer than I have. And he started Form Steeling. He worked his way up throughout the company. Now he's the operations manager, and I made him the operations manager when I took 100% control of the company. An invaluable resource that was stuck in the service department. And I grabbed him, I plucked him. I said, you're going to be the operations manager. This is what I need you to do. This is how I want you to run this business on this side. Help this, help this, help this. I don't get the phone calls that I used to get because now he's getting the phone calls, and he probably answers them 100 times better than I ever could, coming from the sales side, and now in the ownership role. We are surrounded by some amazing, talented people, and I'm really looking forward to you as you go through this process, showcasing these amazing, talented people.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things that a show and a podcast like this gives us the opportunity, because there are so many people behind closed doors that the client doesn't get to meet. And these people all have their own stories, all have their own experiences, are all so integral to the business. It's very much sort of a machine where every cog is important, every gear has to spin for the next to do so. And it's a credit to the team. It's a credit to how flexible the team is, how smart and how intelligent, how adaptive they all are, to be able to, if someone's out on leave, if someone's on vacation, if someone has to attend to something personal, we all sort of band together and fill the gap and are able to come back to a place to where, from the outside looking in, nothing's changed.
Nothing.
So how important do you think it's been to develop that culture of there is no such thing as, well, that's not my job? That kind of faith in one another, that if we do have to step away for whatever reason, that there are going to be people doing to the utmost of their ability whatever it is that needs to be done to make sure this company runs.
That's the difference between us and I believe everybody else. We have an amazing culture here. We also have an amazing team. We have people that will not let that ball drop. We have people everyone is cross-trained. Everyone works together. Everyone knows the goal is to make sure that this company and that client at the end of the day is taken care of. From an owner, I don't know if you can ask for anything more. From a team, for me, it's extremely rewarding to know that this company is in phenomenal hands. If I've got to go away on a trip, if I got to go to Tallahassee to go and work with the FSPA, if I got to go to Washington, D.C. to go work with the PHDA, if I've got to go and travel for the Master Pools Guild, or if I got to be doing a license board in St. Lucie County or St. Lucie County Fire Board Commissioner, or I'm out there doing things like that, I know if I can step away, that nothing gets missed. That's extremely rewarding, extremely humbling. It means that we're doing something right.
No, and again, I think it starts with the top down of you often coming in early and staying late and putting in the hours. And I think there is not necessarily a sense of accountability, though I think that does come with the space, but a sense of empowerment to see that the person all the way at the top, the owner of the company, someone who has sort of every reason to be out doing the things that they enjoy, you've put in all the time, you've put in all the hours, you've grown the company, you've created this team, and yet you're still here every day and you're still coming in and you're still so engaged in all the details, whether it be my department, the construction department, permitting, sales and design. There is sort of no stone that you leave unturned. And I think that's a full credit to you and how you approach the business as a whole.
I love what I do. I love the projects we get to build. But more importantly, I love each and every one of you guys. This is, people talk about family and businesses. I love each and every one of you guys, and I hope everyone knows that. And I think it's shown through not only the service we provide to the client, not only the product we provide to the client, but the fact that when somebody does leave, the fact that somebody is out, nothing misses a beat. And that to me is very, very rewarding. But it's fun. I love what I do. I really do.
You've created an environment that allows a lot of us to love what we do. And I think that's a credit to you, and to be able to come to work every day, I think, regardless of what your daily task is, and be excited about that and be excited about how what you do contributes to that client experience and how it creates and it betters that continuously every day. It's a wonderful thing. So we've talked a lot about the past. We talked a lot about the present, the current state, the team we have in place. I'm so curious to know, so much change in the past 5 years. It feels almost unpredictable to even try and forecast the future, but is there something that excites you down the line? Is there something that you see coming where you think that's going to be another big differentiator?
No, I do. And as you know, I like to keep everyone on their toes. I always like to kind of give you a bunch of tasks to do, and creating this space and creating this room and building this podcast, and as we move forward, creating the digital copies that we're doing to allow the consumer to give kind of have an idea about who we are before they even meet us. I think that's going to be extremely important, because this avenue, this media is definitely going to help. But we got a lot of cool things on the horizon. We've got a lot of really amazing new partnerships that are coming, and I got a couple cool things on my own that I'm doing. So,
hey, it's an incredibly exciting thing, and I think on my side, we've already alluded to it, but I'm so excited to be able to start telling the stories of everyone that's inside the company, to be able to, like you talked about, sort of introduce a client before they've ever stepped in the door. I think a website does a lot of that work, and obviously we put time into that. I think social media, more and more so, has been carrying a lot of that load, where when people can see sort of the best that we have to offer, it instills a sense of faith in, if they want to go that far, if they want to go to the utmost level, we have every capability. And if you want to scale down and do something that's a little more sort of in the standardized ballpark, if a company can build these 2,000 square feet, these 5,000 square feet of deck, fire pits, champagne spas, you know that they have the ability to do the smaller things and to do it with a pace that no one else can match. So I'm incredibly excited for all that this has to offer. And I'm excited for the way that we continue to evolve. I think even since I've started and taken this position, we've rebranded the company, and then from there it's been all systems go in a really exciting way, and just continuing to evolve, never getting complacent, never feeling like, hey, we've reached the mountaintop, we've reached the summit, let's sit here for a while, let's enjoy it. And I think we, as a company, we know how to celebrate the wins and celebrate the moments and the big achievements, as I think we should, and celebrate the employees of the quarter that we started to acknowledge, because I think those people deserve that acknowledgement. But at the same time, we enjoy that moment then, and then we come back to work the next day and know that sort of the job's never finished and the journey's never done, and it's on us to keep pushing the ball forward and keep walking the path. Every time you think you've seen it all, another plan comes across my desk with I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and figure out a way to do that. I'm sure you'll do a little sneak peek. I got a project that we're working on right now that's about halfway done, and I'm looking forward to you kind of highlighting that one. When the inspector met me on the site, and he looks at me and goes, "Is this going to work?" And I look at him, I go, "I think so. I'm pretty sure we figured it out, but we'll see as we move along." It's got just shy of 6,000 linear feet of electrical conduit, just shy of 10,000 linear feet of PVC pipe, collector tanks, overflows, perimeters. It's a pretty impressive project, and we're excited to build it. But it is funny when you have inspectors kind of look at you and go, "That going to work?"
and our team of amazing craftsmen are making it happen.
Wow.
But it's been exciting to sit down with you, Luke. It's been amazing to see what's been created here. It's been amazing to be part of this transformation of this journey. And I'm really excited to see where we go in the future.
As am I. Thank you for stopping by, giving us some time this morning.
Pleasure.
And best of luck, safe travels. I know you got a trip coming up. So
Thanks.
It's been great to have you all here to join us on this first episode. We are so excited to continue to bring new content to you with new guests all the time and take you further beneath the surface with A&G. So make sure to stay tuned, follow us on any social, and listen wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next time.